In this lecture, we're going to start working on other templates. So far, we've been focused on the home page. However, the home page is not the only page that exists. There are pages for posts, search results, 404 errors, categories, and so much more. WordPress offers an exhaustive template system. In the resource section of this lecture, I provide a link to a documentation page for WordPress's template hierarchy mechanism. Previously, we talked about the query for a page. As a refresher, WordPress will scan the URL to determine the type of content that should be rendered. Based on the URL, WordPress will perform a query to the database for a list of posts that should be displayed on the page. There's a step that we skipped over. After it has grabbed the results, it'll begin picking a template. WordPress will follow a hierarchy for picking a template, which is documented on this page. Before looking at examples, there's one thing worth mentioning. Throughout this page, most of the file names include the PHP extension. However, there's a note that says the following. In these examples, the PHP file extension is used. In block themes, HTML files are used instead, but the template hierarchy is the same. It's safe to assume that everything on this page applies to block themes. Let's proceed to look at an example. Below the notices, there will be a link to a visual example. If we look at it, the visual diagram will provide us with an overview of the template hierarchy. The diagram is read from left to right. On the left side, the diagram will show us the types of pages selected by WordPress. For example, let's say we're viewing a singular page. The diagram will check if the page is for a single post or a static page. If it's a single page, it'll check if the page is for an attachment, custom post, or blog post. Lastly, it'll begin searching for files based on the type of page. Let's assume the type of page is a custom post. First, WordPress will search for a custom template in our theme. If a custom template doesn't exist, it'll search for a file called single with the name of the post type. Once again, if this file doesn't exist, WordPress will continue down the hierarchy. Eventually, it'll reach the index template. In fact, if you were to scan through the entire hierarchy, all pages lead to the index template. For this reason, every theme must have an index template to be considered valid. It's the default for all pages when a suitable template isn't found. The visual diagram can help get an idea of how the hierarchy works. However, the documentation page is easier to read. Let's go back to the documentation page for the template hierarchy. On this documentation page, each type of page will have a dedicated section for explaining the order of templates. For example, let's look at the front page template. According to WordPress, it'll search for the following files in this order: frontpage.html, home.html, page.html, and index.html. All template files must be created in the templates directory of our theme. For the rest of this section, we will start working on creating these templates. However, not every template will be explored. In most cases, you can get away with less than a dozen templates. In my text editor, I'm viewing the files for the 22 theme. This theme is installed with all WordPress installations. Reading through WordPress's default themes can be a great way to learn theme development. The latest theme is a block theme. Similar to our theme, there's a folder called Templates. If we look quickly at the folder's files, there are less than a dozen templates. Like I said before, defining every template is not necessary. You only need to create what's necessary. With that being said, we are going to create the most common templates you'll need for a theme. Once you're ready, let's get started.